Okay, here we go. So I was looking on Reddit and I found this WandaVision theories. So yeah, let's take a look at some of this. Hey, it's me from the future. So as I was editing my earlier footage for my predictions for WandaVision for the final episode, I found out I had way too much footage. So I decided to make this second video where I kind of go through some theories I found online and talk about what I think about that. And so that's this video. Yellow magic. So Dottie's magic is supposedly yellow as depicted by the flowers in her yard. And Dottie's the character who was the the woman in episode 2 who was running that sort of get together. There's been a lot of theories about her being another witch. I don't think that's very likely to be revealed in the last episode, but that's nice. And this is an old theory too. This is like 1 hour ago. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Less than 2.5% is what I'll say. They're not going to bring in another character just out of the blue like that. She was a character in one of the early episodes. I think they probably saw from IMDb that she's going to be in the final episode, or there's another episode she's supposed to be in, and I think that's it. She's just a citizen of Westview. I really don't think there's some other thing there. People thought because of the way she was acting in episode 2 that there might be something going on, just like they thought with Agnes. And that turned out to be true, but I don't think they're going to pull out another thing of saying, oh, Dottie, that one character that you probably forgot about because she hasn't been seen since episode 2, she's also a witch. But there was also the whole thing about the flowers, I guess, like the flowers in front of Wanda's house are red, and then in front of Agatha's house they're purple, and then in front of Dottie's house they're yellow. That's where they get the flowers, her magic is supposedly yellow. So but the only thing we've seen yellow magic is when Wanda brought Vision back to life in the living room, episode 8. Does this mean that Wanda also created Dottie? Or maybe that Wanda was somehow pulling on Dottie's magic? I think you're grasping at straws there. It's yellow because of the Mind Stone. And it might have something to do with the Mind Stone, recreating the Mind Stone, but it is not. No, that is grasping at straws. Nice try, though. Yeah, like this person agrees with me. The yellow magic coming out of Wanda when creating Vision is just because of the Mind Stone. And I agree with that. But I'll upvote it. I don't agree with it, but okay. So new Infinity Stones. What is this? Okay, so I had this theory for a while, and I just came across this, so I wanted to share it. Spoilers for episode 8. Okay, so in Endgame, Vision says that the stone can be destroyed by pouring in a power similar to the stones. Thus, this plus the fact that her power. Let me click on it actually to get the full thing. This plus the fact that her power is amplified by the stone and the fact that she can create matter. Wouldn't she be able to create an Infinity Stone that she could put back in Vision with the help of Banner and Shuri? And even if she couldn't create her own stone, there is a theory that Tony made an Infinity Stone as an arc reactor because his father studied it the better part of his life and left the subatomic building instructions basically to Tony. So if they recreated that and Wanda just poured a bunch of her power into it, like she did with Vision, couldn't she make an Infinity Stone that way? I don't know if this is even possible with how her powers work, but I thought it was a cool idea. And this is one thing I did talk about in a previous video where I don't think she is able to create an Infinity Stone, because I do think the stones are supposed to be so like a part of the universe or like part of the Big Bang or whatever that you can't just make them, but that does go back to what's her face, Darcy Lewis, talking about the abbreviation of whatever it was, the energy from the Big Bang. that was coming from the hex itself. So what if we know her powers don't necessarily all come from the Mind Stone, but they're certainly amplified by the Mind Stone. And so it is possible that because it's related to the Infinity Stones, that when she makes something as big as the Hex, it does draw upon that, I don't know, universal background radiation, which is related to the stones, maybe. Because the stones do kind of go back to the energy of the Big Bang, I think. I don't know how much of that is like relates to the MCU or how much of that is like more comics lore. I don't know. I'm not that big of a comic nerd. But yeah, that's some interesting ideas. I think it's possible that you have that sort of thing happen. I think it'd be more likely she used her powers to make a copy of the Mind Stone. That's probably not a full Infinity Stone, but it serves the same purpose. I don't know, for some reason I'm thinking if you've ever played Sonic Adventure 2, there's the Chaos Emeralds, which are kind of like Infinity Stones, right? And Chaos makes a fake Chaos Emerald that then Sonic uses to not Chaos Teleport, or I don't even remember what it's called, but he uses it to warp. Like the character of Shadow the Hedgehog does with a real Chaos Emerald. So it could be something like that. Now I sound like a total nerd bringing up Sonic the Hedgehog Adventure 2. Chaos Emeralds, Infinity Stones, it's all the same, right? So yeah, I give it... I don't think it's a real Infinity Stone, but yeah, that's an interesting theory. On to this is a video. I don't see how that's really a theory, but okay. Behind the scenes. So my dad came up with this theory that in a Marvel Legends thing, it might go behind the scenes of Westview and the Hex. And that's when Doctor Strange will show up. No, I think the behind the scenes is going to be a making of. Like, nah, that would be so dumb if they did that. That would be so dumb if they did that. Like, it's a thing where, like, you have to watch the behind the scenes thing because they'll just throw in a scene, like a canon scene in there. Like, that's even worse than, like, after credits. What if Marvel did that? Like, they've done after credits, but the new thing is you have to watch the behind the scenes. And then you also have to watch the commentaries. Do they even do commentaries anymore? Remember all the audio commentaries they used to have on DVDs, Blu-rays? Do they still have those? I don't know. It's been so long. I don't get physical media anymore. But yeah, if they threw something in there like, oh yeah, you got to listen to the audio commentary because at minute 157, a major new cameo character shows up and says, oh, by the way, I'm going to be in the next movie. I don't know. Deadpool, I could see Deadpool doing something like that. But Doctor Strange, I don't know. I don't know. I'll still give you an upvote, but yeah, I don't think that's very likely. Undiscovered Fantastic Four Easter egg. That's an Easter egg. I don't care. My theory on who the Blue Vision is. I think it's supposed to be White Vision, but he is a little blue. He's a little blue. Hear me out. This is my first time here, and I just had an idea of how things might go. Why is James Spader, the voice and actor of Ultron, still listed in the cast? Well, is he? Unless you're talking about the credits, which I haven't looked at. If you're talking about IMDb, IMDb's not reliable. You can't always trust it, and even if he does just show up in the previously, I think they would still count it on IMDb, or he might still even get a credit. I don't know. And Vision is turned all blue like Ultron's colors are in the comics animated series. Well, it's more white than blue. It's just the lighting situation, I think, that makes him look more blue. I think when we see him in daylight, he's going to look a lot more white than blue. Is blue color when that hologram AI in Tony Stark's Avengers Tower lab. I think this may be a new spawn of Ultron, as he came back several times in the comics and animated series. Like I said, I would give this more credence if we had heard Ultron or seen him in like visions or something like in previous episodes. I don't think so now, with this being the last episode, because even though this is a Marvel show and they do expect you to have watched Marvel stuff before, I don't think they're gonna throw something like that. I could be wrong, but it's the last episode. They're not gonna throw a curveball like that, just from like a show perspective. Like I said, I could be wrong. Plus, this blue-white vision got turned on by the power of the drone covered in Wanda's magical power. She got her power from Loki's scepter, Mind Stone inside, just like where Ultron was born and formed from in Avengers Tower. It's a good point, but I still don't think it's gonna happen. Who is the figure next to Agatha, taken from the official Twitter account? Oh, blurry. I guess they mean this. I think you might be looking too much into it. I don't know if that's anything. I think that's just a shadow. It looks like her shadow or something. Yeah, I think you're looking too much into it if you're looking for something like that. I think that's just a shadow. Far from home. But this doesn't sound like a WandaVision theory at all. What if Fury put Peter on his assignments, in quotations, assignments, to keep him away from what was happening in America with the Hex? When does Far From Home happen in the timeline compared to WandaVision? I don't know. I think that's getting way too complicated. And they already have trouble with the timeline. If you remember Homecoming, the whole 8 years ago, or 8 years later. I would hope they try to avoid any sort of timeline confusion there. Just say they were happening at slightly different times, or they're just not related. But, okay. He's literally from Queens, which is only 20 miles away from Westview. And that's why Sword was causing delays for his field trip. I'm gonna say no. Also, 20 miles away... it's still a ways away. Unless we see the Hex getting much bigger and it affecting people like that, they could see it from far away. I feel like if you could be in New York City and not know anything happening in Jersey, let alone like anything happening in just across the river in Hoboken, New Jersey, let alone Westview or somewhere, because just living here, and I'm not from New York City, but I've been living here for like 6 years. Yeah, I don't know anything happening in Jersey. It's like a world away. And I grew up in Montana, where distances are so different from here. Like from here, like getting to the city, it's like a 30 minutes to an hour, depending on where you're coming from in Brooklyn and Queens or the Bronx. And that's not that far. It's only like, I think it's like 10 miles for a lot of time, 10, 15 miles, depending where you're coming from. And where I grew up, we would go to Missoula, Montana. And it'd be at about an hour to get there. And that's like 60 miles. It's just the concept of distance when you're not driving, or even if you're driving, because here in the city, traffic is so bad. I never drive. I know that even driving here, things take so much longer because you're stopping all the time. Like even taking Lyft around Brooklyn, it takes so much longer than I'm sure to go like the same distance from where like I'm used to, like just going from my parents' house to the grocery store. It takes like 5 minutes, or 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes. And you're probably going about the same distance a lot of times in New York City. It'll take like half an hour So yeah, that's I don't think I don't think so. But I'll give you an upvote anyway. Oh, here's one last thing I'll look at this WandaVision theories page. Nightmare is the big bad in the multiverse has already been messed up. At this point, I don't think it's likely, but okay. I highly doubt Agatha is the big bad. My guess is that Nightmare. I think Mephisto is out of the question at this point given the controversy of the devil in certain markets. Picked up on Wanda's strong power and the Hex's massive energy reading and sent Agatha to investigate. No, I think it's just Agatha. It probably needed energy to restore himself to his true form. Think Voldemort from Harry Potter and needed chaos magic and similar energy to restore himself. Maybe he's the rabbit Agatha carries around, or one of the many animals in her house. Perhaps Agatha killed Sparky to test Wanda's ability to restore people or reinvigorate vessels with her magic. This could also be to restore someone else she loves too, potentially. As for the implications regarding the multiverse, the events in Westview will no doubt impact the events of the Spider-Man movie and Doctor Strange 2, obviously. Wanda probably caused a rift in the multiverse, and her and Doctor Strange need to fix the mess they made while contending with Nightmare being brought back and ready to strike and unleash his agenda. Okay, so I'll say the same thing I said with Mephisto. I don't think so. I think the time to introduce new characters like that is over. We are going into the finale. A post-credits thing? Maybe. Maybe we find out that Agatha's Harkness is could be sacrificing something to work for a higher power. It's always possible. I don't think it's going to be a major plot point in the final episode. You could get a Thanos-like reveal, revealing that this is who she's really working for or something like that, but I don't think it's going to happen in the episode. But yeah, I could see something with Nightmare. I don't even really know who Nightmare is. I just see it mentioned all the time with regards to the show. I guess it's like a character, like something like Dormammu, because I usually see it referenced to Doctor Strange. I've seen that mentioned as a possibility for Doctor Strange 2. So I could definitely see a character like that introduced in a post-credits scene that will show up in Doctor Strange 2. That is a definite possibility. I give a post-credits scene 50% chance of happening. I'm not saying it's more than likely to happen, but it's got a fair chance. It's got a really good fair chance of something. Either I think I do agree that Nightmare is more likely than Mephisto at this point. But yeah, anything's possible. WandaVision theories you need to read before the finale. Monica Rambeau's full spectrum powers. We all know it's coming, Marvel. The last time we saw our newly minted superhero, she was put under the control of Agatha after discovering her powers has gotten stronger upon entering Westview again. I know some people are not entirely happy with the way she's gotten her powers, but to me it makes sense. And I'm not that familiar with the comic character, but from what I've read, she just gets her character from a energy from a different universe. It doesn't sound like it's that different, especially since the Hex is just like energy, and it messed with her cells, and then she went through one too many times. And I think some people have said that they don't like that because then anybody could have gotten powers that way. I think that you could argue that it wouldn't affect everyone the same way. We don't know that. I think it's more than likely that even if it did give you superpowers, it wouldn't give you the same kind of superpowers. It's that kind of thing where it gives you superpowers, but it reacts to everybody differently based on their genes. Which I know they haven't introduced the X gene yet or anything like that, but I think that's what could be kind of going on. But Agatha has got a lot on her plate, so we're sure Monica's at the bottom of her priority list. At some point, we think Monica will shake free from Agatha's control and lose Pietro from her tail so she can help free Wanda. Monica actually might be the only one to convince Wanda to take down the hacks. That could be, but I don't know. We'll see. That is, unless it isn't forced down prior to her arrival. We already know at this point Monica will be appearing in Captain Marvel 2, so there isn't too much to worry about when it comes to the safety of her character. That's probably true. But she will have a whole lot to process now that she has superpowers. She will have a very different role in both Sword in the state of the universe. Yeah, I don't know if we'll see that much from Monica. It does kind of seem like she doesn't have that much left to do in this show. Especially as I kind of think the finale is going to focus more on Wanda and her family, but I could definitely see something like that happening where she has to lose the fake Pietro and get to Wanda to convince her to take down the Hex. It could definitely be a plot point. Fake Pietro, aka Pietro in the multiverse. Well, it's been confirmed that Evan Peters Maximoff is indeed not the Pietro we've seen in Avengers Age of Ultron. While Agnes showed her control over Peter at the end of episode 7 with some further explanation in episode 8, there still hasn't been a big reveal about how Peter ended up in Westview. As far as I understand, it seems more likely that Agatha just created him. Like she says, like a crystalline projection or something like that, right? So either he's just like a normal resident that she just is moving around and made look like Quicksilver a little bit. But then again, if she did that, why didn't she make it look exactly like the Quicksilver she knew? I don't know. It seems a little weird that way. So that means we're still plowing full steam ahead with some hint towards the existence of the multiverse. Vision may need to access Peter's memories to reveal exactly who he is before they attempt to return him to the X-Men part of the multiverse. Maybe. I don't know. It still doesn't make sense with the whole Agatha thing. Like, why would she have brought him over from the multiverse? Unless you're going to say she was lying, but then again, you get into that thing with the show. It's like, if you start saying that, oh, this character was lying about it in the same season, like, it makes sense if you're retconning it, but like in the same season you're saying that, I don't know. That's usually not a great sign if you start doing things like that. We've gotten a few pretty plausible rumors that Doctor Strange may appear in the final episode of WandaVision, so he could be the one to return Peter to his rightful place in the universe. In the process, though, X-Men could be officially inducted into the MCU, leading to possible reboots or maybe even a Magneto appearance. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Agatha Harkness's intentions. Okay, well, we're supposed to hate Agatha Harkness. Actress Kathryn Hahn makes it very difficult to do anything but love her. Yet those final moments of episode 8 clearly give us the idea that she is not someone to be messed with, not even by Wanda. Earlier in the episode, Agatha was able to use her powers during the Salem witch trial era to kill her entire coven and absorb their powers as well. Now she's got Billy and Tommy roped up with the same magic, which could have some major repercussions. In the comics, Billy and Tommy are reabsorbed as pieces of Mephisto's soul, and then they are reincarnated to become part of the Young Avengers. It's all pretty confusing, but it doesn't seem like Marvel will go down that full route just yet. But we could see Wanda's kids become sick from Agatha's magic or possibly kidnapped with the emergence of an even bigger baddie. It wouldn't be a surprise to see Agatha try to take the twins' powers, or Wanda's powers for that matter, since she was so interested in the chaos magic of our Scarlet Witch. Agatha hasn't revealed her true intentions about being in Westview yet either. While she could be coming to consume Wanda's magic or learn how to control something like the Hex, she could also be working for someone else to keep an eye on the twins. Agatha is invested in them in the comics, so we really got a feeling that there's something more than meets the eye about her involvement in Westview. Okay, so if they have a character like Mephisto, I think it'll be more of a thing that Agatha's intentions is she wants more power, and so she sees the kids and she sees that they're more than just illusions. Like Wanda actually created magical children somehow, and I think her intentions would be to, I guess, sacrifice or give them to Mephisto or some other being, Nightmare or whatever. I think Mephisto's more likely in that case. That's what I think. Doctor Strange appearing, I don't think it's very likely. Okay, I don't know what do they even have to say? Do I even really want to read all this? Doctor Strange may have to come to Wanda's aid to clean up the mess. Possible. But I don't think it's likely. That is one thing that's influencing how I think this show is going to end, is the fact that we know Wanda is going to be in Doctor Strange 2. So would they really have a season 2 that's going to take, like a continuing of the show, like maybe even possibly end it on a cliffhanger, if you're going to have Wanda then go into Doctor Strange 2? I think most people are assuming that this show, the storyline needs to wrap up, even if you somehow do a season 2, so that Wanda can go into the next movie. My guess from the very beginning of even learning that Wanda will be in Doctor Strange 2 is that it's not going to be a plot thing. It's just that when you watch Doctor Strange 2, if you've seen WandaVision, you'll be more informed on where Wanda is coming in as a character. You'll know what happened to her previously, why she is probably studying magic or something like that. It's not going to be like a requirement to understand the plot. At this point, I definitely don't think you're going to get the multiverse opening up and that leading directly into the events of Doctor Strange. Is it possible? Maybe. 15%, under 15% is what I'm saying. It's possible, but I really don't think that's what's going to happen. So Doctor Strange might show up. White Vision. We already got White Vision. We don't really know what he is going to be exactly. I do think he's just going to be like a tool for Sword for Hayward. He'll be emotionless. He'll fight the WandaVision, and that's what I'm going to put. Blah blah blah. Okay, let's go to the next thing. Nightmare, Mephisto, or some other wild big baddie. And this is stuff has been talked about since the very first 2 episodes. I don't think I really want to go more into it. That's one thought. Marvel could end up combining the characters together. It could be some combination. They don't have to strictly stick to what's in the comics, obviously. So they could do something that's not necessarily like one or the other character. Anyway, let me know if you've been watching WandaVision. Are you looking forward to the finale as much as me? Do you have any thoughts? What do you think about theories? What do you think is going to happen? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a click that like button, or you didn't like it, I guess go ahead and click that dislike button. It's all engagement. It all helps. And I will see you in the next episode I do. Bye.